Hello and welcome to part 2 of the online tutorial series that's been designed to help you make an application to the Rocket Grants program. In this section, I'll explain the kinds of projects we're seeking to fund. It's important to understand the funding priorities for Rocket Grants in order to be able to make a persuasive application. It's not really a question of whether certain kinds of work are better than others, but more about what kind of activity this opportunity is designed to encourage. You'll find more information about this in the application guide, and you can also look at previously funded projects both on the Rocket blog and in tutorials 3 and 4 of this series. In a nutshell, we're looking for high quality, innovative, experimental work that will engage and surprise the public in unexpected places. The particular genres of work that this grant seeks to fund are those which build relationships with new kinds of audiences, establish bridges with and between cultural and geographic communities, and have meaning to a public outside of the usual art world. This means that your project should happen in unconventional, unexpected places. In other words, outside of studios, galleries, arts districts, theatres, and museums. Please note that the venues provided by either of the partnering organisations may not be used for Rocket Grants presentations or productions, and this includes the Spencer Art Museum and all urban culture project spaces. It's possible, however, that there could be spin-off exhibitions and so on from your project that will find their way into these spaces at a later date. An important focus for Rocket Grants is to fund projects that are specifically designed to support and inspire other artists. Proposals that engage underserved communities and build bridges where few exist now will also be strong candidates. You can find more information about this in the downloadable application guide, but basically there are 2 important features to consider when developing a Rocket Grants project. One of these is that projects should be accessible to the public in some way during their making or presentation, whatever form they take. Accessibility may perhaps include affordability, depending on the nature of your project, and so this may be something to consider when drawing up your budget. Public accessibility, however, need not mean that your project's designed for everyone. You should clearly define who your target audience is, whether large or small, and design access specifically for this group. Also, because of the importance of visual criteria in this grant, artists whose production is primarily performance-based or literary may wish to consider collaboration with visual artists to make their proposals more persuasive. Now, let's consider the types of projects that would be good candidates for this grant. As you can see, the types of projects that meet these requirements include an extremely broad set of possibilities, and I'll walk you through this list, expanding as we go. Performance possibilities would include music, dance, interdisciplinary performance, or performance art. Your project could be a film festival or a series of screenings of artistic videos that might interact with the community in an important or unusual way, or the making of a video that documents some aspect of the arts or cultural community. This funding is not, however, intended for large-scale film projects. It can also not be used for travel or equipment purchase unless those items form a convincing part of an overall project idea. Social practice projects that engage the community in creative making, sharing, and learning experiences are all welcome, as are projects that move between different media, processes, and fields of inquiry. Rocket Grants could fund an exhibition of some kind that would be something other than the normal art in a gallery model, for example using the underside of a freeway flyover or on the sides of buses. Projects can include web-based work, including web art projects or sites that share and build community resources, as well as Second Life projects and events. Funding can be used for publications of all kinds with a strong visual component, curatorial projects in all media with a primary focus on original, engaging local work, all kinds of events, even ones that only happen for one night, community-based programming with an innovative approach, fresh and experimental programming for artist-run spaces, installations of work in surprising places, public art that might not find support by any other means because of its temporary or unusual nature, and even to help initiate or develop new kinds of artist residencies. There basically is very little restriction in terms of media or type of project, as long as the intentions align with those of the Rocket Grants program and the quality is high. Importantly, though, you should think about ways to use this opportunity to expand the scope of your work in some way. Even if you have an ongoing project that already meets all the funding criteria, consider using this grant to stretch or take risks with your work that might not otherwise have been possible. This concludes part 2 of the online tutorial. Parts 3 and 4 will cover work by artists who've received previous Rocket Grants and give you some links to work in a similar genre.